What do you think would affect the plumb bob showing you if you're level?
The wind.
Very good. The wind. So, can we use this in the wind?
No.
No, because it's going to affect it. You'll never be precise. But it is a way to tell you when you are perfectly level. So when that plumb bob, it comes to a point at the bottom. When that plumb bob stops moving, that tells you exactly where your building is, or where you're directly, the point that you're directly above. It's the same thing with this. We would attach a plumb bob, and the plumb bob would fall down, and it would fall directly. Remember at the bottom of your base? There's a hole, right? So you would adjust your plumb bob so that it falls directly above this hole. Now, why is there a hole here? It's not for the plumb bob. It's for your first point. So remember this morning Dan was talking about your lot, and in the middle he had his house, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say I locate my first point right here. That first point, I would place it in the middle of that hole. Place this on the ground, and now I can set up my tripod. Put on my plumb bob. Why do I put the plumb bob? Because of this. If I loosen that knob a little bit, the top can move around on me. Even though it's still attached, it can move around. So the reason why I put that plumb bob is to make sure that my optical level is directly above my point. Once I'm directly above my point, I tighten it up. Now, I'm going to take my first reading. Remember Dan was talking about offsets and marge de recul? Our distances. Take my first reading over here. For my point. It's not actually my first reading, but my first point. Now, once I have that, I can adjust my degrees to 0. I'm in a straight line. Now what happens is when I want to take my reading of a wall that I'm building at 90 degrees, what do I have to do?
Turn to 90.
I just turn it to 90. You follow? And that's how you would use an optical level. So we covered talking about the base, covered the tripod, the level and the adjustments. Now I'm going to talk to you a bit about the head, the ruler. So now this is all set up. Okay? It's all level, it's been adjusted. You need 2 people when you do this, when you use the optical level, minimum. One person who takes a reading to there, and the other guy who holds the ruler. Now, there are different types of rulers. There's a metric ruler, and there's an imperial ruler. And if you look at this, it looks pretty funny. Like you would not know how to read this. Let me explain it to you. Every time you have a space, example, from the red line, does everyone see this clearly? Let me come a bit closer. Okay. Let's say I'm here, just below the 15. You see that line? That stands for what? 1.5 meters. It's in metric. Got it? 1.5 meters. So here I'm at 1.5 meters. What is 1.5 meters in millimeters? 1500. So if I'm here at 1,500 millimeters, or how many centimeters? 150. Exactly. Et quand on dit des décimètres, 15. So this here, 15, tells you how many decimeters. So this line here is at 1,500 millimeters, 150 centimeters, 15 decimeters. The distance now, it goes up in increments of 10 millimeters on this side. If you notice the distance from here to here would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and now I'm back up at 100, which is also 16 decimeters. Okay? So every increment goes up of 10 millimeters. Follow? By the way, also in the back of your ruler, I want to show you guys. Now, not all the rulers are the same. We have some that are metric on one side and imperial on the other side. These ones here, which I want you guys to use, are only metric. I want you guys to get used to only using metric. We have some exercises later we're going to do with imperial, but right now I want you guys to practice only using metric. On the back side of the decimeter, we have it strictly in millimeters. Okay? Now, you're building a property. You're building a house. Is it important to be precise up to 1 millimeter?
Yes.
You think?
No.
No. What would be acceptable? What do you think would be a tolerable dimension? Inside of?
5 pieds.
That's 5 kilomètres. 5 millimeters. Okay? 5 millimeters. Which would be the middle of this, right? So if I'm looking at it like this, and I'm at 462, what would I go to? Would you go up or go down?
160.
You would go to 460. Rounding up or rounding down, you would go to 460. Remember? You guys remember rounding?
Yes.
Right? So if we're going in 5 millimeter increments, I'm at 462, I'll go down to 460. If I'm at 463, what am I going to do?
65.
Go up. You follow? That's using the ruler. Now, how to use the ruler?
Why is it the opposite side upside down?
Why is it upside down?
It's going up,
That's right.
8, 9, 10. The other side's going down.
Yeah, one is to come down, one is to go up.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Got it? Everyone understood that? Alright. Now I'm going to show you guys how to use this. You want to stand up? Now Simone's going to hold the ruler. Okay? Alright. When holding the ruler, you think it's important for this ruler to be straight?
Yes.
Why? I'm looking through this, my level's already level. Why does it make a difference?
Ben,
Oui, la
tu vas
ligne,
pas,
le même lieu dedans.
Parce que même si mon niveau de niveau, même si le niveau optique du niveau, si la règle n'est pas droite,
les autres sont pas bons.
la lecture n'est pas correcte. You follow? So right now, if I'm looking through here, can't see clearly. You know why? There we go. I'm looking at.
Check la chick, ça.
Arrête. 1575. That's what I'm reading through here. Okay? So now what happens if he tosses, what happens if he bends this ruler a little bit?
Ben, ça, ton point serait plus haut.
Exactly. If he bends it down, doesn't matter how he bends it, it's always going to be plus haut. Because if I bend it down, the dimensions are going lower, so what I'm reading is higher. You follow? Merci Simon. Let's give him a hand.
On aura un bonhomme, là.
Il y en a pas, je te dis.
Eh oui, c'est ça.
Il est caché.
Oiseau chez nous. Il met son téléphone.
Now, when we take our readings,
C'est dans le sport.
how do we know, when we take our readings, how do we know how to start? What's our starting point?
Le coin.
Boulevard point? C'est ça que tu dis, boulevard point?
Je disais le coin.
Un coin? Le coin de quoi?
La maison.
La maison est pas piquetée.
Ah,
C'est là pour le
Le
faire.
coin du dos.
Le coin du lot? But let's say it's a big property, a big land. You don't know where the
Le
corner
coin
is.
d'encre.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Trouve
Le
le centre.
Take up one.
Trouve le centre. Oui.
Mais
Ça
ça
fait
fait
de la
faire tes affaires, puis tu t'en vas.
T'abandonnes. Change de tout.
You need a starting level point, okay? Take your dimensions. So you're working off your plan. Remember your plan that Dan was talking about this morning? Right? Well, on your plan, same house. This is what we want. Okay? There's going to be something called a benchmark. This is something you're all going to have to remember now. There's a benchmark. Your benchmark is a starting point. It's not a starting point that you come up with. remember when we were talking about in plein de vie, we were saying that there were different elevations, and they were saying, well, you know, an architect could decide whatever they want it to be. This is an elevation, but you can't decide. This is an elevation that's given to you, and it's normally on your plan. Now, what we normally use des manholes. Des manholes. Manholes. Des trous d'égout. Des couvercles d'égout.
C'est vous de ça,
Moi, ça, ça.
Okay? We use manholes. We can also use, let's see how good my drawing is.
It's Parker.
But then,
Pas de fontaine.
Ah oui, c'est un autre monde là, par exemple.
Little Fontaine, very good. And there's another one. I don't know if you guys have noticed this.
L'affaire que j'ai pas sur mon terrain.
Des bonhommes d'eau.
It's just going to be a little penny. We call it a penny. It's on your hydro poles. You guys ever notice them? If you look on your hydro pole, okay, you're going to see a round coin. Okay, it looks like a coin that's been hit into the side of the pole. And if you go and read it, it's going to have a dimension, an elevation on it. You guys ever notice that? When you get, you notice them? Those of you who haven't, go home and look at your hydro pole. Go in the back. And you'll notice that you have information written on it. Okay? Yes, it can be used as your benchmark. So basically, what is this benchmark? It gives you a starting point, a starting elevation. So let's say on your plan that you have, okay, you have a dimension that's given to you. So they'll tell you, example, from the manhole on the street, okay, the elevation is 32,000 millimeters, or 32 meters. Okay? Do you guys remember seeing this? From Plein de Vie? ASL?
Yes.
Dan knows. He's a pilot. What is ASL?
LC line.
You remember me talking about New York? You guys enchanté New York, mais c'est pas ça?
Above sea level.
Above? Hey, tu l'as! Above sea level. You gotta help me.
C'est vous qui êtes super bon,
Above sea level.
C'est Dan qui a triché.
Oui, c'est Dan. Otherwise, c'est le niveau de la mer par rapport à la mer de New York. Okay? I don't know why. Dan, do you know why it's at New York City?
Never know.
I've never known.
When we fly, that's all they tell us.
That's so big.
Ouais, parce que.
Because it's New York.
Because it's New York.
I love New York.
The ocean level, Manhattan. Okay? What happens is the ocean level. So all of our elevations are done according to the ocean level at New York. Okay?
Mais là, ton 3200, tu l'as-tu comme t'as juste mis un chiffre de même ou.
Oh, il est marqué sur les gros. Donc ça va être marqué. Tu vas le voir ton plan. Tu vas le voir ton plan, tu vas voir toutes les dimensions, toutes les élévations dessus. So that's what you're going to start with. So here you have 32,000 or 32 meters. So already we're at 32 meters above the ocean floor. Or not the ocean floor, but the surface of the water. So above ocean level. Okay? So now, if I have set up my tripod on my property, okay? If I go to take a reading, where's my, the instrument is set up, okay? If I go over to my manhole and I take a reading, what is that telling me, what I'm reading through there? Le niveau de quoi?
Seul, c'est vrai en ce moment.
Le niveau du sol? Ce que je vois dans le niveau optique, là, c'est le niveau du sol?
Non, le seul, c'est le niveau là.
La lecture, là, mettons la lecture, là, t'es à 1575, comme j'avais tout à l'heure.
Ouais. Là, c'est en
plus 32 mètres. Ce niveau-là, là, what is it? C'est quoi exactement?
Ça, à la hauteur sea level.
OK. Ouais, mais c'est le niveau de quoi? Above sea level.
La hauteur de ton détournement.
Thank you.
Non.
Ça va être l'auteur de l'instrument above sea level. Okay? It's the height of our instrument above the sea level. Okay? But if I want to know the height of my instrument above this point where I'm standing right now, I take a reading, right?
Ouais.
And I'm going to take a reading on my benchmark. I take a reading on my benchmark. This is called my visée arrière. Your first reading on your benchmark is called your visée arrière. The reading I take in front of my level would give me the height of my instrument.
How is this helping you find the first point?
Pardon me?
How is this helping you find the first point?
We're getting to it. Okay, we're getting to it. Remember we talked about all your marge de recul this morning with Dan? So with your marge de recul from your lot, you'll be able to locate the first point. You follow? Okay. Now, if I wanted to place my optical level, I could place it right on top of that point, and I could begin taking my readings. The only problem is, I have no idea what my reading is there, so first I have to take my reading there. So before I won't place my instrument there. First I want to take my readings. If I take my reading here, what's it going to tell me?
La hauteur.
It's going to give me what? The height of my instrument. The height of my instrument. Got it? Now, I have my reading on my benchmark, which is my visée arrière. And now I'm going to go, I've located my first point. Pay attention to this, guys. I've taken my reading on my benchmark, that's called my visée arrière. Okay? So if I can show you guys like this. Picture this is, ça c'est le sol. My manhole is here. And here's my instrument. Okay? This is called my visée arrière, which we call our VI. Okay? Down at the ground is our benchmark. Follow?
At the ground, well, could the ground have changed through years? Could the level of the ground have sunken or raised since the benchmark was first made?
Go with what's given.
Okay.
Okay? So, I want to know the height of my instrument. My VR, what I'm reading here, right? Minus my benchmark will give me what? What I'm reading. Exactly, that's my height of my instrument. Actually, I don't even need to put all that together. Now, I've located my first pin. Located my first pin of the house. Follow? I go and I take my ruler, put it at the first pin, and I take another reading. That reading is called my visée avant. No, this one here, I have no clue where my instrument is. I just chosen a place in between my benchmark and where my house is. So now I've taken a reading on my benchmark, my visée arrière, and I take a reading at my first point that I'm located with my marge de recul selon le plan. Follow? So I take my first reading, that's my visée avant. If I want to at that point, I locate with my marge de recul the other point, and I can begin taking my readings at all the corners of the house. I've done this one here. I can begin taking my readings at all the corners of the house.
What was the reading between the...
I didn't give you a dimension.
No, what was it called? The VA?
The visée avant is my front sight. It's my front sight. Visée avant is my front sight in English. Visée arrière is my back sight in English. Okay? So now once I've taken all my readings, okay? Taken all my readings, through my metric ruler. And let's say I have 1.45, 1.40, 1.70, 200. Where is my ground the highest?
Non, regarde ça.
Put it this way. Okay? If I'm reading through there, remember the level stays the same. Okay? If I'm reading here, right now I'm reading at 8. Okay? 8 decimeters. The higher the dimension, now I'm at 1 meter. The higher the dimension, the lower the ground. Right? So if I'm reading at the same level, the smaller the dimension, the higher the level of the ground is. Do you follow? You got that? Now, that being said, my ground is going like this. And I'm going to build my house on it. Am I going beneath my lowest point or my highest point?
Lowest point.
Thank you. You're going to go beneath your lowest point. What's the depth of excavation, by the way, in Montreal? 4'6", and in Quebec City? 5 feet. Right? 5 feet. Okay? Guys, pay attention. I want to show you guys this. Now, I've had the benchmark, right? Which we said was 32 meters. We had, let's say this would be 2 meters. Then we had 1.75. We had 1.45. And we had 1.40. Right? What's the ground level at these points? What was our VZREI? Over here, what did we have? What did we have through the reading? J'avais 1.575. Okay? So if I can, is it okay if I erase some of this up here? Okay? So here we go. You guys watching? If I have 32 meters and my reading was 1.575, what's the elevation right here? 33.575. Okay? Listen. Now, if I take a reading, and we had a reading at 2, a reading at 175, 145, and 140. What is the ground elevation at these?
32.
From here, we went up 33, 575, and we're coming down 2.
31.
Did everyone see how that was done?
You just subtract under.
Okay. The next one?
31.
Parce qu'on va pas calculer 10. 31,4. Tout le monde d'accord?
Non. Moins 25. Moins 25, c'est tout. 31.825. 31.265.
Good? Does everyone understand how we found the elevations of the ground level?
Yes.
You found it? Okay, let's continue for the last two.
32.125.
C'est quoi?
32.125.
32.125. Et le dernier?
32.175.
32.175. Okay? Those are the four levels at the ground level. Now we're going down 4'6" from which one?
32.175.
31.51.
Prends-tu plus haut, plus haut, plus ou plus bas?
Plus haut.
Prends plus haut?
4.6 en bas, plus bas. Si tu vas mettre ton plus haut, ben, c'est pas 4.6, c'est ton plus bas.
So which one is the lowest point here?
31,5.
That's our lowest point right now?
Right.
Okay. So this is our lowest point. We want to go down 4'6" from here. What's 4'6" in metric?
Well, in the middle, if it goes down one, you.
54.
You're taking the lowest point.
No,
The lowest point of taking your four corners. If you're not going to go through every single foot of the building to find your points.
54.
So it might not be 4'6" everywhere.
We just want to find the lowest point, and we're going to go 4'6" below that. Don't forget, when we dig, what's going to happen? The bottom has to be level for the footings. So that's where we're going with this.
Right.
Okay? So, t'as dit quoi? 4 et 6?
54.
54 quoi?
Pouces.
En métrique.
Oh,
1m37.
C'est entre point.
1,3716.
C'est ça.
Okay? 1.37.
16.
So, we're going to go down 1,37 m. Il reste
30.20.
30.2.
205.
205. Okay? Ça devient le niveau en dessous des semelles. Follow? You got that? So what was our depth of excavation at the first point? Là, on a creusé combien? 1.37. En dessous ici, hein? How about under this one, what would it be? Would we just take off 137 from that one too?
Non. C'est ça la différence avec celui que tu vas croiser. Non.
C'est 31, 8, 2, 5. T'enlèves le niveau, parce que là, il faut qu'on reste le niveau en dessous des semelles. Et là, tu gardes le même niveau. 30. Got it? Ça donne la profondeur d'excavation. This is a little bit further than what I wanted to cover today, but it's just a beginning to what you guys are going to be getting into for the modules. Okay. On page 83, you guys have an exercise. I want you guys to do it. It's basically talking about reading through an optical level, reading your ruler. I want you guys to tell me what you guys are reading. So do the exercise. We're going to correct it in 5 minutes.